Yeah, this fast track PPT we will go through. So actually today, as Mr. Lee Chung-ha has explained, we will start to meet with Huawei Cloud. Today we will learn the basics of Huawei Cloud, and then we will log into Huawei Cloud and make a small demonstration. Hello, any questions or comments? Okay, I think it was my microphone open. So today, as we explained, we will just start to know about Huawei Cloud. But before that, cloud is a global concept. We will know that what cloud it is. First, we will start with that part. Currently, in our age, actually, the enterprises are moving from the conventional IT architecture to cloud architecture. In the past, not very long time ago, when we are thinking an application, you can think any application that we were using in the past, they were working on a dedicated machine. So you can think this one is a server, is a big computer. So any application you are using, it has a dedicated hardware. So we can say in this time, the hardware and the software is not decoupled, they are together. So if any developer, as one of you, you were thinking to develop an application, first you need to have a strong machine. Then when you want to extend and expand your application, scale your application, you were needing another machine. So you can just start to guess, I think this is very costly. After that, there's a revolution happened. The concept is the virtualization. So in the virtualization era, we start to use a single machine. You can think it's the hardware, which is consists of the CPU and the other kind of computing infrastructure. We have started to use one machine with a multiple application. This concept calls as a virtualization, and this is, you can think about this is the father of cloud. So the cloudification in fact start with the virtualization. So when we come into the picture of cloud here, currently the virtualization, it is vested. So we are having the very powerful machines. You can consider they are the powerful and big data centers. We are using this one as commonly. Currently, this is in the virtualization era, when you are developing or deploying an application, you are using in your enterprise. Now in the cloud infrastructure, actually you are sharing it. If we are using a metaphor, you can think like this is using electricity or gas. So you are just using and paying how much you are used, but you are not owning the machines. So different between the virtualization era and the cloud era, you are not owning these machines. These machines, for example, in our case, are owned by the Huawei, and for example, in other cases, it's owned by the Microsoft or uh, let's say AWS. This is the evolution of the enterprise IT from the conventional to cloud part. So when we say about cloud, what words should we remember? Firstly, these red parts you should be remembering about the cloud. First one, the cloud is first on demand. What it means that you can access anywhere. Now we will start to use Huawei Cloud on the screen. Even you are in, for example, in Bangkok or Singapore or any other place in Asia, and I'm currently in Turkey, for example, the location doesn't matter. You can conveniently access. This is the first one. Another part is the shared pool. There are a pool of resources. You can share them. If I'm using one resource today, after I release, you will be using. So we are sharing, in fact, the resources. So this is the one of the important point that it reduces the cost. Another part is rapidly provision. You don't need to wait for an hardware arrive or any other thing. For example, in the past, if you want to uh, deploy an application, first you need to receive the server physically. Now you don't need that, and it is really rapidly provisioned. And the management side is on the vendor side. For example, in our case, it's the Huawei Cloud. You don't
Ma
need
poi
to.
come resumo anche.
Okay. You may mute your microphones, maybe, if you are not asking a question. Okay. So for the management side, you don't need to consider about its electricity or its air conditioning, such kind of thing in the cloud. As a user, you don't need to think about it. All the part is on the vendor side. So these four parts are the main parts making cloud is useful. So when we say cloud, actually, even we are not heard very much about cloud. Cloud is everywhere. For example, now everyone using a smartphone, your albums, your music, if you are using Spotify or something uh, like a music platform, if you are using YouTube and etc., and Google Documents, such kind of things, actually clouds is everywhere. We are already using it. It's all around. Uh, on the other side, we have some concept about public cloud. Actually, now the competition is also about Huawei Cloud. Huawei Cloud is a public cloud. Firstly, let's highlight it. Highlight this. So, what is public cloud? As name give itself, public cloud is accessible from everywhere. So it is not yours, it's not mine, it's everyone's. It's like electricity or water. When you want to use it, you just log in and rent or purchase what services you want. You use it, that's all. So this is the main part of it. It is accessible from everywhere and it is for everyone. So you are seeing here the enterprise cloud. Enterprise cloud is you can consider is the dedicated cloud or the private cloud for the user itself. So this is the definition. If it is the enterprise cloud, only I'm using it. No one else using it. If it is the public cloud, it's like the utilities, like electricity or water or gas. Anyone can use it. So there are other kinds of clouds. Actually, for the enterprises, this is the most typical scenario that hybrid cloud. You can use both private cloud and public cloud together and create a hybrid cloud solution. For example, let's say the banks or other enterprises, for them, the data is very sensitive or some applications are very sensitive. They may not want to expose this one to the public. This may be related to their security requirements or the government requirements, whatever it is. This is, in fact, the most common deployment scenario. You can use the public cloud and the private cloud together. So, what service models in cloud is provided? Currently, in the beginning of the session, we say that uh, if you are using the traditional IT, you need to care about everything. You need to buy the hardware and deploy the software on top of it, and all of them you need to manage. No one else is there to manage for you. So on the cloud, as I can again mention, cloud is all about service. So you are getting the services as the like the electricity and water again to tell. There are some kind of services, for example, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So let's say that you buy a machine or the rent a machine on the cloud. Let's say it's a virtual machine with Huawei Cloud terminology, it is ECS. You need to manage some part of it, not all part of it. For example, only the uh, software side you need to manage, and mostly the cloud platform side, hardware and the other underlying technologies you don't need to manage. So another service also is there for us in the cloud, which is platform as a service. On the platform as a service, you need to only manage the application and data. If you buy a SaaS product, you don't need to manage everything because everything is managed by the provider. And here I want to give an example of a pizza. For example, you want to make pizza at home. So what you need to do is you need to have an oven and you need to have the electricity at home, and then you need to make a dough, right? You need to get flour, and for example what you want to put on your pizza, you need to all of them make it, and in the end bake it and eat. So all the process you are managing. For example, you only you go to a bakery shop and you prepare your ingredients at home. So the cooking will be handled by the baker. So this is you can consider as the infrastructure as a service. So let's say on the SaaS side, if you deliver food to home, you order pizza from outside, this is SaaS. You don't manage this, it's just delivered to home. So this is the differentiation. It's related to which part you want to manage. Based on this one, also on the cloud, the structure is similar. So on Huawei Cloud, there are more than 200 services. Some of them you are seeing in the screen. These services are one of them. Of course, we have the IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS layer. These services belong to one of them. And when you are making any application, you can compose them, one of them or some of them, in your applications. But to remind that for this competition, not all the Huawei Cloud services are applicable. As you are seeing on the screen on Huawei Cloud, you can access more than 200 cloud services. But in our competition, some of them are inside of it. You can access them in our competition webpage. So before going to the lab part to try and see how actually Huawei Cloud is working, I want to introduce you to our developer institutes, which helps you to learn by yourself. It is for self-learning. There's the really rich website, this is edu.huaweicloud.com. When you go to this website, you will find four kinds of documents. So let's go together to this website and check it. When you go this website, this is a self-learning website actually. So here you have the learning paths. Learning paths, it's from simple to more complicated. You can choose your track. For example, if you are a little bit familiar about cloud concept and basic cloud services, you may skip this part, or you may even start with that part for the basic courses. And progressively, you can go to another domain. For example, for business professional domain and technical professional domain, you can choose one of the track and see the actually recorded videos in a progressive manner. So when you start one of the courses, like in the other platforms, you will have uh, a track there, and when you stop in some part, you can continue and resume your learning from where which you stop. And similarly, for the other courses, we have other self-learning materials. And here, if you are interested in one of the domain, for example, you don't want to follow these one by one, you can go to domain which you are interested. For example, for migration domain, you can find some training here. Maybe you are only interested with the enterprise intelligence on the AI side. You can just go to this one. This is like the, you can think is like assets piece by piece. Whenever you need it, you can also get the training documents here. So for the Cool App is quite new, but I find it very useful. This is a great learning platform, learning path that when you open this one, it will step by step give you a guide. And you will follow this step by step. When you complete it, you will learn the subject area. For example, you are interested in compute services, you will create an ECS here, for example, or for deploying a website, you can choose this one, and it's really convenient. And I think the number of the labs will improve and increase day by day. I strongly recommend you after you learn your theoretical part, you can go to Cool Labs and step by step follow the instructions. And a little bit about, I want to mention about career certifications. On Huawei, as other cloud providers, we have some career certifications for professionals, and also the students can benefit from this one. We have three layers of certification, starting from the associate, then professional, then expert. When you want to get a certification from Huawei, You need to study those online materials just I have introduced. You can make the collabs practices and our practice guides you can follow. And in the end, there is a mock exam. Before you are going to the real exam, there's a practice exam, which is similar to the actual exam. You can test yourself, and later on, you can pass the exam. For the first two layers of certification for associate and professional, you can say that level one and level two certification. After you pass the written exam, you will just directly get the certification. But for the HCIE exam, there's a written exam. And after you are finishing this written exam, there's a laboratory exam also. This laboratory exam is all about hands-on. You are having some scenarios and you are asked to realize those scenarios on Huawei Cloud. This exam is consists about a day, is around 8 hours. And after you pass both the exam, you are getting the HDI certificate. But of course, I recommend you to go step by step, first from associate, then professional, and expert. Those certificates are very much recognized in the industry. So if you are having one of them, I think you will have a lot benefits in your career. So this is the theoretical part. Before I go to Huawei Cloud web page and introduce you how to use Huawei Cloud in briefly, do you have any questions or comments I may receive? You can also type into chat if you have any questions. Okay, I hope everything is clear. So now let's go to the Huawei Cloud web page and start to use it. So let me just log out and log in together with you. So when you go to, I hope you are all registered. You can register to Huawei Cloud, of course, firstly. And you know, in scope of this competition, everyone will have a $150 cloud coupon for their usage. So let me just log into my tenant. So here, this is the login screen as it is usual. After you log into Huawei Cloud, you are directly in the console, which you can see the summary of the resources you have created before. So let me introduce the screen briefly. Whenever you want to use a service, you just come to the sandwich menu and you will have all the services listed here. And these are in the category of the service domain. For example, if you want to use a compute service, all of them are listed here. For example, you are interested in the AI domain, artificial intelligence, or the big data domains, those are here. For example, one of the popular ones, model arts. If you want to use modulars, you can go here. And let's say that if you want to use some data services, you can also find in the data part, for example, databases, etc., whichever you need it, you can find here. And this search is quite powerful. As you may guess, searching a service is important because there are more than 200 services. So here you can just type what services you want to use, for example, VPC, etc. And this is just come to your screen. So today in a hands-on scenario, what we will do is we will just rent a ECS. Okay. So ECS is basically a cloud server. It's a virtual machine. It's running on the cloud. So we will purchase it. As you know, a cloud server is a computing server. So we need to firstly create our space, our network in the cloud, which is private to us. So firstly, whenever you do any operation on the cloud, the first thing you need to do is create a VPC, virtual private cloud. So you will have actually your own network on the cloud, which means that you know the concept is public cloud. So on the public cloud, everyone is there. So you need to create yourself a uh, yourself a network which no one can access, only you can access. So I will just create a VPC. So when you come to VPC page, there's a button here on the right hand side. You click the create VPC. And when you log in here, the most important thing which you need to consider first is the region. Because the regions, Huawei Clouds has some regions in the world. So whichever region is near to you is of course better because of the latency, network latency. And you need to also check whether the service you will use is available in that region, because some of the region doesn't have all of the services, but Singapore is quite rich region. You can use this, and also in the Asia side, also in Asia Pacific, those Singapore, Bangkok, and Hong Kong regions, three of them, I think is quite applicable in your scenario. And also for the creating of VPC, it gives us automatically a unique name, but it's better, of course, to change this one. For example, for today's training, I will give a name APEC. You can again customize all of them, but I strongly suggest you keep this pre-word VPC, because otherwise, if I write like this, it is the meaning will be lost. Okay, just you keep the prefix, then later you are searching your resources, you will know that this is the VPC. So today, for today, I'm creating a network as VPC. I found this on APAC will be our VPC. So here, the second field we need to fill here is the private IP block. So you know that for the IP block starting with 192.168.172.16 and 10.0, these are all private IP ranges. You can choose one of them. You can customize it. For example, you have choose this one, and if you need another one, you can choose this one or even this one. Let's select this one. So when I select this one, actually it gives me an IP block. I have several IPs in this block, but I need to create a sub network here, which you can consider in the web applications that, let's say for the security purposes, you have the web layer, application layer, and data layer, which is the most common enterprise scenario. Let me create one network here that subnet web. So whichever the resources related to web will reside here, will be inside here. As you see here, it says that available IP address is 251. So usually, of course, this is much more than we needed. But if you need the most IP address in your network, this also can be chosen. For example, I choose this one, and I reduce this one to let's say 8. So currently I have more than 16 million IP, which I can be used in my network. But in our scenario, we will need only one. So for us, this CRDR block will be okay. So one of them we will use. If you need another network, as I explained just recently, for example, for database, you can just similarly do the same operation, subnet DB or subnet application, and by the time you create it, you will have your three network. But in our scenario, we just need one today. An enterprise project, you don't need to care about it, but if you are sharing this one in your organization, actually this is an enterprise scenario, you can allocate this enterprise project for cost recording. For example, the finance department is also using, or IT department is also using cloud. So you can choose one of them. So in my scenario, I'm choosing my enterprise project, but in your scenario, you can just keep it default, no problem. So as you see, for cloud, the most important thing I can say is the cost control, because you need to control the cost. It is very easy to buy some expensive resources and finish your budget. All the time, I suggest you to check the how much it is. This is VPC service. In Huawei Cloud, some services are free, always free. So the VPC, Virtual Private Cloud, is one of the services. So I will just click create now. Invite subnet parameters. Okay, let me just create again this error. We change the part that's why we get the IP block. So it will be VPC APAC. So I write my enterprise again, just to repeat, and the web. VPC name already exists. Okay, let's just change it APAC to. Yeah. As you have seen here, my VPC, my virtual private cloud has been created. And let me just refresh. And I have one subnet inside this one. After I create VPC, my network, I need to protect my resources, their communication, and etc. That's why I need to create a security group. So this security group is for resources communication, for inbound and outbound. I will explain this one while we are creating. This security group is help you to protect your resources by allocating the ports. Okay, for example, you are using this one for web, you only allow the ports which you required. So we have some template here. For example, if it is a web server, you can use this one, or simply if you want for open for everything, you can use this one. And if it is for custom, you can customize it. So what I will do, because it's for us, it is only web server, I will just create a security group similar to that one. And again, I will choose my enterprise project, but you can keep this one as default. So let's just click OK and see our security group. So when I open my security group, two parts is very important: inbound rules and outbound rules. When I go to inbound rules, you can think like this is from outside. Okay, who can access to my resources? The name give itself inbound. From outside to inside, from which ports I can access. For example, my resources are accessible from port 80, which is the HTTP port, and also 443, this is the HTTPS port, and for 22, it is for shell, for you are accessing for SSH and etc. These are default ports already open. This is enough for me. But if I need to remove anyone, I can just easily remove. And if I need to add any special port, I can add it. But for our scenario, we don't need it. And outbound is reverse to this one, from your device to outside. For example, you want to access to the internet, or your device, your server is trying to access another server. You need to set up the outbound rules at that time. So as summary, what we have done from outside the inside, we have created our network from the VPC, and we have set our rules: who can enter, who can exit, let's say like this. And now my network is ready. I'm going to another layer, computing. So what I need to do is I need to buy a machine, buy a ECS. So again here, you can also navigate from here, but I suggest you can use here. It's very convenient. When you write ECS is the cloud server. If you are familiar with other cloud providers, for example, for AWS, it is EC2. And for, let's say that Microsoft Azure, it is the virtual machine, etc. But for Huawei Cloud, we are calling the virtual machines as Elastic Cloud Server. So when I open here, it will again open a similar page. And in Huawei Cloud, most of the pages are very similar. So you can easily learn and navigate. So you just click here, buy ECS. Again, as I mentioned, the region is very important because it's related to how fast it will be and how available it will be. It's very important. Again, Singapore is chosen, no problem. But one part is also very important is the billing mode. You can buy the resources in a monthly basis. So when you buy this, for example, server, you pay upfront and you can use entire month. The fee is deducted immediately. So for pay-per-use, it is hourly based uh, charging. So you buy it and you use it for 2 hours. It's charged only for 2 hours. And spot price is something that we should not use for critical operation because spot price is the cheapest one actually. You can buy it, but it is not guaranteed. Maybe if it is needed for something else, it can be removed and your data may be lost. If you are trying and learning, maybe it's okay, but I suggest you can usually use the paper use and of course delete your resources after you use because until you delete, you will be charged forever after you before you delete. So another concept in the cloud is the availability zone. So in under the regions, we have some data center. So let's think about the Singapore scenario. In Singapore, there are different physical locations that have data center. So this is for availability. For example, let's say that there's an earthquake happen in Singapore and the AZ1 is destroyed. So for the enterprise scenario, of course, for high availability, it is better to uh, allocate your resources among the availability zones. But for us, for training purpose, today we will choose just random, or we can choose one of them. Another part for ECS is, for a machine, even you are buying a laptop or computer from the device, when you go the first time, what they will ask, what specification you want, right? How powerful it will be. And this part is chosen in this area. There's already categories here based on the purpose. You can choose one of them. For example, if you are running an AI algorithm or some kind of things, you can choose GPU accelerated. And if you are using very simple application, you can use general computing. And if it is little powerful, computing plus, etc., you can choose your uh, category based on what you want. Today, I will choose the general computing to be make it is cheaper. Okay. So when I choose UC, it is much cheaper than this one. For example, this one was 0.99. When I choose general computing, it is one third of it. So I choose this one. Some of them is already sold out. If we had this, for example, it is a little cheaper. And I can also mention that when you register in the Huawei Cloud, you have 1,500 hours free. So if you choose this one, even this is more powerful than this, you will not be paying anything until you consume it. But if today I will just choose this one uh, for training purpose. So firstly, I choose my, let's say the specification. Now I need to choose the image. What kind of operating system I want to install here. Here I will choose, you can choose anyone that is related to your projects, but for today's training purpose, I will choose CentOS 7, CentOS 7.6, which is really stable. And also here for the system disk, you are having a category of system disks from the lower performance to higher performance. If you are choosing this is average, but if you choose the high I/O, the price will be reduced, and it will be choosing the ultra high I/O. It will be much. I don't have much things on my disk, which is need performance intensive. So I have just chosen the high I/O. So now next. We will configure network. And you will remember in the beginning, what we have done was all about network because you need to first arrange your working space. So I will choose the ones which we have created just previously. What was that? VPC APEC 2, right? So there were only one subnet we have created. It came here. So it will give from this IP block one private IP address to my ECS. I have two options. You may choose automatically assign your IP address, or you can even manually assign. For example, I want my machine having this IP address. The uh, selection is yours, but you can always keep as a default. And here you see it says that available IP address is 250, and it was actually 251. Is there an answer for that? You can, if you know, you can write into chat, or you can tell us why it was the 251 and it reduced to 250. This is a tricky question. If anyone knows, then we can discuss. Otherwise, I will share in the end of the training. Just keep it in your mind. It was 251. It became 250. Why it was? You can think about it. I will just continue. Okay, for the security group, also I will choose the one which I have created, SG APAC. So here I can review whether it was uh, my security group. As you can see, it is all the same. So on the other part, the IP address. Okay, there was one IP address here, and there's another one here. Why is like this? Because the first one is the private IP address, which is only available in my network. For example, I cannot access this machine with a private IP address. It can be accessed only within its VPC, within its network. So if I want to access from the internet to this machine, I need to add an elastic IP address, which is the public IP address. And here there are some billing modes is there. The first one is the bandwidth, another one is the traffic. So if you choose bandwidth, your bandwidth is guaranteed. So if you choose 5, you will always guarantee it 5 megabit internet, and it doesn't matter how much you downloaded or uploaded. For example, your machine is uploaded 1 terabyte, you again pay the same, and your bandwidth is always the same. But if you choose the traffic, your bandwidth can fluctuate time to time. It is not a guaranteed bandwidth. Time to time, it can change. But this time, you have charged by your traffic. For example, you download too much, maybe it's better to choose this one. But if you need faster speed, but you will download less, you can choose this one. I always suggest for training purposes, you choose this one, because for training purpose, we don't download much things. So, for example, I choose 5 and continue. And on this side, again, I need to give one name to my resource. The system has given a random name. I can again customize this one to APAC. And there are some login modes provided to me. You can log into your virtual machine, your ECS, by password, by key pair, or you may even choose set it later if you don't want to set it now. So actually, if you choose the password, you need to give both of them. For key pair, you don't need to use this mode, but for enterprise, this is more safer, because your password security, you are responsible. So if you lose it, or if you set very simple password, it may be guessed by some people, and it may be attacked because it's on the public. So if it is key pair, it is much more safer, because the key is only with you. If you don't share it, then no one else can log in this one. But for today's session, I will just give a password. All right. As this is a computing resource, you may choose to back it up or not. For this training, we will just not required. Again, in the confirm page, I will have a confirmation here, which I need to review. All the inputs I have given, I need to review. What we have done is, We have used the Singapore region. We had choose, as you will remember, it was a random. And so from the random one, the system allocated the availability zone number 3. And my configuration was 1 to 2, one CPU and 1 GB memory. The image I had chosen, it was the CentOS deployment, and the version was 7.6. All right, I had choose the high IO, not the ultra high, not the SSD. This is also correct. I'm reviewing my network. It was the VPC I had created, and that was the IP block I chosen. That's why I have got the IP from this block. I will get the IP from this block, and the security group is correct. The web, uh, the our subnet is also correct. EIP, we want traffic, not by bandwidth billing, by bandwidth billing by traffic. It was chosen. It is 5. The name, everything looks fine. So another part, before you submit, always this is you need to choose, but for this one I will choose mine. So the quantity, if you want to create, if your specification and everything is the same, instead of creating again and again and filling all the information, and if you are creating this one 10 times, 15 times, always you may make mistake. If you need more than one machine, you can just increase this one up to 44. You can create it. And always in the operations, there's an agreement that you need to uh, click this one and submit. But before submitting, always review the price, that it's not too high and everything looks correct. And I just submitted. Okay, it says that request submitted successfully. Now what we have done is we have send a request. It's creating now. It will take not much time, very quickly. It will create it. Then after that, we can check whether this image, whether this cloud server is created successfully or not. We will check. Okay, it became the running status. Okay, I get the IP address, private IP address, in the block which I have chosen. It starts with 192.168.0, and it's randomly selected from that part. And I will refresh. Yeah, it's already come. This is the what it is. This is the public IP address. So from anywhere in the world, you can access from this IP over the internet. But with this one, only inside of the network, you can access it. So we have created it. So let's check it. It is created correctly or not. I just click to remove login. Okay. So it's asked me to login name. It's always root. So I write root and I enter my password. Yes, as you will see, says that welcome to Huawei Cloud Service, and it is the ECS APAC. So let's check the IPs is correct, whether it's really my machine. So I write ifconfig, and I will see the IP address here. As you see, the IP address, you can see 132, right? Let's go back at console and check it here. Yeah, 132, as you will see here, 132. So it's my machine. It's that easy, for in the Huawei Cloud, if you want to make any operation in the screen, it will help you to do the operation, because all the time there are some checks, and it is, you are not doing everything in one page. It asks you to set the parameter first, and then it asks you to set the network, and then it asks you again to confirm. So it is quite, I think, user-friendly to use it. But anyhow, while you are using some services, you may think that, oh, what was that? I want to learn more about it. etc. For every service, you have a question mark here. When you just go to this question mark, it gives you a brief description what this service is for. And if you want to learning more, there's a really rich documentation on our portal. You can go there and you can have the details of that service. For example, for ECS, it will explain you what it does, what it consists of, etc. And for beginners, I strongly recommend you to visit the infographics, because the infographics are the visual ones, of course. When you click here, it gives us a really brief description. Okay, what ECS is consist of, what are the advantages of it, etc., etc. It gives us really brief description. I strongly recommend you, if you are not familiar or if you want to refresh your knowledge, just go to the infographics for every service. Then you can get a brief explanation from there. All right, there's something in chat. I will read that one. Okay, there's a good question from Rangrak. I hope I pronounced correctly. Currently, Windows ECS, there's a difference and differentiation from the Linux images and the Windows images. Linux images are free deployments, you can get it, but Windows is a licensed one. So if you want to get that one, you need to have the image firstly. You need to get the image from somewhere, Windows image, and upload it to there. So let me just show you again that part. So while you are creating the ECS, right, there was an option to choose the images from here. These are the public images. As you will see here, there's no windows. You cannot choose it. So what you need to do is a private image. So you need to have the image, Windows image, get from somewhere, from the internet, etc., and apply it for the image management side. This is the IMS, image management. You can upload it, and then later you can get it. For example, as you will see in my tenant, I think I have, for example, here, I upload from this create image part when I get the image, and then you will not see it under public images, of course. While creating your ECS, it will be on your private, for example, Windows, etc. Currently, the situation is like this. Thank you again for the question, Rangbrak. Is there any questions or comments, our friends?
Any question? Yeah. Any question?
You can type your questions, or you can even ask, speak up.
Yeah.
So how about your competitions? Have you ever started your competition part? What services you want to use? You can also type them. We can talk about them. For example, Rangrak, have you decided your Huawei class service? You can type the service you want to use it. Okay, maybe not decided.
Ali.
Yes.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
My name is Islam, by the way.
Hello, Islam. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to ask you one question. So for the competition, we will use just that services. They are how to say. given for that competition, yes?
Exactly, yeah. That is the most important part. For example, today we have shown ECS as a basic service, just to make you familiar. But ECS, for example, is not one of them. Yeah, it's not one of them.
Okay. So for me, for my projects, I need that elastic service. If I will use that elastic service, it doesn't count as I use it the resources that was for competition. Yes.
It doesn't only enough to be qualified for the competition. You can use it, and we urge you to use it. ECS. But let me give one example. You have made a project, okay? You have just created your application by only using ECS. Then it's not accepted for the competition, unfortunately. You need to add another Huawei Cloud service, which is in the list, in the short list. But you can still use ECS. Maybe I can again go through the services which you can use it. It can give you some idea. So there are a list of services which you can get from the website of the competition. As you know, our competition is in 4 domains. EI is the enterprise intelligence, platform as a service, media, and database. And if you go, for example, the EI part, the model arts is one of the most popular ones. If you are into AI, you can use it. It's not very hard to use. And on the big data side, we have the MRS, and this MRS is the for real time and also the batch big data operations. You can use for the DAIU platform, or the new name is the data lake governance. You can use it, and for the content moderation, just through the APIs, you can embed into your application. This is only at that part. So if you are not very much familiar with any of them, I suggest you can choose one of them. Don't go for, don't think that I will use 10 services and it will be the better application. No, the most important one is you use the cloud service more effectively and reflecting the cloud service value. We want to see that. So that's why I choose, if I were you, I choose one of them, which is really, I can really relate to my domain, and I can try to excel on this, and I can make it. But after that, add one of them. Don't make it much more in the beginning. Let's say that you made some progress and you are confident that your application is working, it is qualified, and then you can one by one try to integrate another service. This is much better.
Okay. For example, I saw the database. If I use the RDS, relational database, so does it fit for the competition? How does it? Will it count as I used one service?
No, no, actually, for RDS in general, no. You know, for RDS, we have RDS for MySQL, RDS for Postgre, uh, we have RDS Gauss DB. Gauss DB is the Huawei's own DB. Only that one is accepted. For example, to make it clear, you go to RDS, Relational Database Service, and while you are creating it, it will give you some options. All right. Let me just buy DB instance. So here you see there's the MySQL and PostgreSQL. These are not the ones are eligible for that one. You need to go for OpenGauss. Okay. Open, or let's say the Gauss DB. Yeah, this one. This is accepted. So, but basically, Gauss DB and PostgreSQL is very much similar. So it's almost the same. If your database is on the Postgre, you can just easily convert it. And I can give you another tip. If let's say that your application is on the MySQL, which usually we use, then what you can do is you can use a data replication service. Okay, you can make a database in your local or in, let's say that in another cloud platform, your MySQL or PostgreSQL, you can use this data replication service. Basically, it's the data migration service. It takes the data from source and writes into target. For this one, you can use the RDS together, DRS and RDS. But RDS one will not be counted as one, but this will be counted as one. Yeah. Is it clear?
That Gauss DB, as you said, it's kind of Postgres, yes.
Yeah, it's kind of Postgres. It's kind of
Postgres.
Gauss, open Gauss, this one. And repeat to be repeated again. This is also not counted. Okay, this is Gauss DB for MySQL. This Gauss DB for open Gauss. This is
it doesn't count. Okay.
The MySQL one doesn't count. So I strongly suggest you to check the name precisely. Okay, this is Gauss DB for open Gauss. We come here. This is Gauss DB for open Gauss. But when you go here, there's also open Gauss for MySQL. This is not qualified actually. This one. It's similar to PostgreSQL. Not much difference. The SQLs, the DBLs, everything you can.
Yes, as Ani said, if you want to change the database, you could use the data replication service, the DRS. It supports RDS, and the backup your RDS to your local is also could match the computation a great curve. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, exactly.
Can you show me on a list that one? That database and application migration yet?
No. DRS, data replication service. This is before that you can use it if you are converting your syntax. For example, you are getting from Oracle and you are making some changes on that. After that, you are uploading. Before DRS, you need to use Yugo and DRS you can use together. But for example, what's your database? Have you decided?
Postgres.
Postgres.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
And
this is matching. You can use DRS from your local database to RDS for RDS for Postgres by using DRS, because DRS is quite straightforward one. So when you go to DRS, let's go together. Here, it will ask you to source and destination, and just you start a task, and your database will be migrated to the Huawei Cloud. Yeah, this is, for example, one of the use cases can be. But you know, the competition has 4 category for parts to be evaluated. One part is technical part. On the other side, we will check for whether your idea is creative, your application idea is creative, and another part whether it has the business value, whether it can be marketed or not, and such kind of things. All of them has some points. You know, technical part is one of the domain. It is the 30%, but 70% will come also from others. I strongly recommend you. You can also check other parts. But don't. Yes, technology is important. You need to utilize Huawei Cloud resources. But on the other hand, yes, you need to also try to create some business value. This can also make you step front from the candidates. Yeah, I'm of course telling this for everyone.
Okay, but I'm afraid that there will be check at September. Yes, so till the September we can't finish that MVP. if our project is not finished, like if we don't have that running application at the end, so
Mhm.
I think it will be counted as lose.
Uh, yeah, it will be always evaluated case by case, but functioning is very important. Functionality, whether it's functioning, it's working. This we will evaluate. So don't go big if it is the case. Just focus on your MVP and make it minimum. If you can just fit one Huawei Cloud service, just use it. And if you have 10 screens which will not be matching, you make it 3, but that 3 must be working, should be working. Make it working. Yeah, you think like at a hackathon, right? So if it is the time is short, you can just consider like a hackathon for yourself, and just for example, you can make that version also. Uh, yeah.
I understand. Like make it simple and working.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it should be working actually. Yeah. For example, I think for APAC also same. For our region is we are evaluating based. I'm not in the jury for APAC. I'm in the jury for Turkey.
Mhm.
But let's see here. I think is this. Yeah, these are the evaluation criteria which will be taken in the consideration. Technical architecture, which whether you have used Huawei Cloud services effectively and by reflecting the Huawei Cloud service value. This is very important here. Functionality, whether it's working smoothly, this is 20%. Creativity of your idea, whether it is it can step forward from other things, whether it's like an innovative idea, etc., and the business value, whether it can be marketed or not. So that's why you will be having, you will prepare this presentation right here.
Yeah.
Sorry, this presentation. And in this presentation, you consider this presentation as if that you are getting an investment for your startup. Okay, you just consider like this. You need to market your ideas here. Let's open this one, like here and here. Here, not this. Project information. Yeah. For example, technical architecture. This is one
Yeah.
domain, and functions architecture is kind of optional. With their functions, your creativity here, and your business value here. As you see here, is one-to-one match here. This
I got
one.
it.
So you need
Oh,
to consider these aspects. Yeah.
okay. The document you have just shown, I uploaded it, and yesterday I got email that our project got top 40 place.
Great news. Congratulations. Yeah, that's the good
Thank you.
news. Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but on my architecture, I didn't use much your hoists. Just I tapped that GPU based cloud servers and the bucket that
OBS.
yeah
Mm,
OBS object
yeah.
yeah. So
Mm.
these two also counted as a like I used Huawei service.
Actually, this maybe I'm not sure about it. Your region make an exception or not, but it
Mhm.
must have this one. I'm not sure about this. Maybe Li Qinghua can answer on that, whether there's an exception on that region or not. But yeah, you must use one of them, I can say. So Li Qinghua, they must use in your region, in Asia Pacific region, they must use one of the services in the Excel, right? That is for sure. This one.
Sorry, you want to select which region?
No. For
啊，
your
我
region,
说一下，
for
李
Asia
庆华，
region,
你
yeah.
说。
我先说一下，我在我的那个 architecture 里边，我没有那么广泛的用你们服务这些，在那个文档里面提的那些服务。
OK，我明白你的意思。
对，但是很奇怪，我们还是在那个 top 40里边。
OK， OK，我知道你的意思，这样的就是那个，我用英语讲吧。Perhaps you have some your application use some like a database or or you use some database but you don't use the really database like GhostDB. We think you could change the database from what you use to GhostDB. So we select you into this top
Okay.
14. Yeah, we wish you will match this criteria on the last phase. If you not use the Huawei Cloud on this table, you couldn't pass the next phase. Yeah.
Okay. So, but I'm really afraid, like our project, we use that Postgres database, and we were going to use that Elastic servers plus that RDS as a database and one bucket.
Okay. I think if you have any other
Options.
if you yeah option or need some suggestion, you could send a mail to us. We'll
Okay.
give you some suggestion, give you some
Okay.
option. We'll help you to reach the last phase. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Ali. I took your time.
Okay, no problem, anytime. So I will be also in the Thailand in our Huawei Connect conference. So maybe we will meet there in Bangkok if you will be there for everyone. Yeah.
I'm not in Thailand. I'm in China.
Okay. I hope you will. You're in China. Okay.
Yeah. Annie,
Yeah.
do you have another page you need to introduce?
Actually, we have finished reaching part. Just I want to get some questions, but let me just share because in the last page we have put this one. We have introduced and we have created the ECS. So I don't have one more page. So that's all from my side actually. If any questions, we can answer. Yeah.
Okay. I want to I have some to remind to everyone. In APAC, we have 3 regions: Thailand region, Singapore region, and Hong Kong region. Every region you could choose to use in your demo in your application. But we suggest you you could you must first to select the region which you want. For in some region the service are not launched on this region, so you should select region first. Okay.
Yeah, actually, correct. Okay, then is there any questions, comments?
Yeah. Do you anyone else? Do you have question?
I think I'm only one who has problems.
Okay, that's perfect.
How many people are in this talk now?
We are, I think, 57 altogether.
Okay.
57.
Okay, last, if you don't have any question, we will remind you. If you have another training requirement, you could send a mail to the developer cloud APAC. Yeah, okay. We will prepare the what you want for you to help you competition. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'd like to ask the training from 19th till 20th. Can we have records of that trainings?
Sorry, please again.
There should be trainings from 19th till the 20s
19,
or 21s.
1920. Yeah,
Oh.
okay.
Yeah. Can we have the records of that trainings?
Okay. This record, this training will share to all of you. Yeah.
Oh, after for a while you will send a
Yeah.
link. Yes.
Yeah. We will
Ah.
send an email to you to share the recorder link. Yeah.
Okay, not a problem.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. The training is finished. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
再见，
Thank you, everyone.
拜拜。
Have a good afternoon. Bye bye. Thanks.
Görüşürüz.